now listening to 102.3 Real Rock FM, where we play nothing but rock, and more rock. This ain't your granny station.
Waking up to ash and dust.
Hello and welcome back to the Corruption of Colton podcast. This is episode 28, and today we're going to be going over the album Saturate by Breaking Benjamin, released in 2004. Now, this is going to be an interesting episode because a lot of people hate butt rock, which I don't understand because butt rock started out as just being the phrase, nothing but rock, on radio stations back in the 2000s. They were known to play nothing but rock music. But now butt rock is associated with making fun of people who listen to post-grunge rock music. Bands like Nickelback, Theory of a Dead Man, Shinedown, Creed, Seether, Breaking Benjamin, this band, bands like that. When honestly, I don't think they're that bad. I've reviewed a few butt rock albums on this show. I did Rev Theory's debut album, Truth is Currency, all the way back in episode 7. I did Alter Bridge's debut, which is like a continuation of Creed and is a bit of a butt rock band. And I just don't get the hatred. A lot of people also call it dad rock, saying that only middle-aged dads enjoy it. And I'm not a dad yet. And I'm certainly not middle-aged. I'm 20 years old. Unless 20 is middle-aged now. And I enjoy this music because of the lyrics, the melodies. It's a bit melodic. It's not like metal music where it's all in your face and angry. But music doesn't always have to be in your face to be enjoyable. Like, I've noticed a lot of metal fans are the people that hate post-grunge because it's not in your face like metal is, and it's more melodic and more stuff you can sing along to. When there's nothing wrong with being able to sing along to a song. I understand some people don't like butt rock because it's just not their type of music, but for some people, it's just popular to hate, so they hate on it and probably haven't even listened to a butt rock band or secretly like certain butt rock bands, but are too proud to admit it, And I just don't get it. I am proud to admit that I like butt rock. Nickelback is my favorite band of all time. I'm going to get made fun of that on this show. I know people might even stop listening to me and my podcast because of it, but I don't care. I'm going to like what I like. I'm my own person. I'm an individual. I'm not going to go along with what everyone in the music scene says. All these music podcasters. I'm not going to go along with what they say and what's popular to say. I'm going to have my own opinions and tell you how I honestly feel about every album I review. You know what I mean? So, enough of that. Enough of saying what's popular. Enough of saying what people want to hear on a podcast. I know my listeners want my honest opinion. They don't want me to be an echo chamber for all these people. And I don't want to be an echo chamber, so I'm not gonna be an echo chamber. So with that in mind, I admit I like Breaking Benjamin, and I'm gonna tell you how I honestly feel about this debut album, starting with the first track. So let's get into this. So the first track on this album is called Wish I May. Now, I want to bring up something real quick. I don't remember Benjamin being this good of a singer, but re-listening to this record, his vocals are better than I remember. I forgot Benjamin was such a good singer, but let me just put it out there that he might be one of the best singers in butt rock. A lot of people have, nasally voices. They have the Eddie Vedder thing going on in their post-grunge music. But, Benjamin here just has this, clear, vibrant, full of life voice. And I love it, and it's really refreshing, and he sounds really good. And I love the nasally Eddie Vedder voice. But, it's nice to hear a band that's, all butt rock, but sound different. Breaking Benjamin's different, and I like it. Anyways, this song is about a person who is overwhelmed and disappointed by something, and I think we can all relate to that in life, right? there's going to be people in our lives or something that overwhelms us and disappoints us. Like something that really disappointed me was I work at a grocery store, and I got a retail story for you. I work at a Jewel Osco, right? But here's the thing. There's 2 doors. 2 entrances and 2 exits because our store is called Jewel Osco. There's the Jewel side, which has an entrance and an exit. Or the Osco side, which has an entrance and an exit. Well, going out the Osco side, the Osco side exit was broken for months. From November of 2023 to January of 2024, something like that. It was broken. By broken, I mean you'd go out of it. You would try to go out of it, and the door would swing back and hit you in the arm. Once it revolves, it wouldn't stay open for you to be able to, walk out of it, right? It's like the mechanism that tells the door to revolve worked, but the mechanism that makes the door stay open for a few seconds didn't work. Things weren't computing with that door. So one day I'm outside doing carts. I had warned the managers this would happen, but nothing was done about it. So I'm doing carts because part of my job is pulling shopping carts from the parking lot to inside the store. You've probably seen people at Walmart doing this. You've probably seen Walmart employees doing this. The only difference is we don't have the little machine to load the carts onto that, backs up. But anyway, so I'm pulling these carts manually into the store, and I hear a boom. And it's I want to say 6, 7 p.m., definitely later at night. But I hear this loud bang. And I turn around, and this older man is flagging me down, flagging me over, trying to get my attention. So I go up to him, and the guy's like, "Sir, your door hit me. I need your manager." And I'm like, "Do you want me to stop by the pharmacy and get a first aid kit for you?" And he's like, "No, just your manager." So we go out there. I go in the store. I grab the person who's working management that night, and I bring her out there. I'm like, "A customer needs to talk to you because someone's been hurt." And she's like, "What?" So she follows me out there. I take her to the guy, and he's bleeding out his arm and hand. And it was actually ended up being so bad they had to take him to a hospital because the door hit him. He literally got swung in the face and arm with our stupid door. And so as I'm pulling carts out there, I see him get loaded onto this stretcher and taken to the hospital. And it was just real sad. Everything that I saw that night was horrible. I was so disappointed in our store management for allowing the door to be broken for 2 months to the point that this kind of accident would happen. That's my story to go along with this track. That things do make us disappointed like that. That's the most disappointing thing I've seen at work, guys. Anyways, let's move on to the next track. So, Medicate is a decent song, all things considered. For example, I love the bass intro that actually shakes my headphones. If you didn't know, I listened to these albums with Soundcore Life Q20 headphones, which I'll definitely talk in more depth about in a future episode where I tell you all about my music listening products. But this bass line sounds great with my headphones. It's very deep and atmospheric, so I appreciate that about it. Actually, the bass line is pretty heavy. It almost leans into heavy metal territory. Look the song up, Medicate by Breaking Benjamin, if you want to see it for yourself what I'm talking about. But the chorus isn't that strong. It's actually a very weak chorus, in my opinion. I like the verses. Benjamin's vocals are very atmospheric, and they really reel you in the verses. But you kind of get bored once the chorus comes in. I actually had to try and finish this song because I feel like though the verses are cool, the chorus is usually where the hook is supposed to be, but there just isn't a hook here. And it makes the song very hard to listen to because, albums like this, those more radio rock albums, the choruses play a major role because they're supposed to be the melodic hook, and there just isn't one here. It's not a bad song. I still listen to it. And some people are going to say don't listen to songs for the choruses, but like, you kind of do. When you listen to an album, you listen for the verses, but you also listen for choruses because choruses are kind of the part where you can sing along in songs like this. Now, on stuff like death metal or black metal, you're listening for the instrument arrangements and the lyrics and not the, like, choruses. But in something more like melodic radio rock, the choruses can offer you a really fun time, and that's just absent here. You know, I was looking for something to sing along to, but it's missing. I will say the verses save the song a little bit. I really like the verses because I listen to music mainly for the instrumentation and the lyrics are good. It's just like, another thing is when you're listening to a song, you listen to it for how it sounds in your ear, right? And I have a strong ear for music, but I'm just not hearing things that are that interesting when I listen to the chorus of this track and when I listen to this song. It feels a little off. So this song's just okay. Now this next track, Polyamorous, I do actually remember. I remember this being on the radio. I remember it being a single, and I'm a big fan of it. This is what I'm talking about. It has great verses. It has a great chorus, and it's catchy as hell. I can see why this was one of the big hits off this album and why people often regard this as being one of the best Breaking Benjamin songs, and this is usually the first song people name when they think of this album here, Saturate. I really like it. I was hooked right away when I listened to it today for the first time in years because it has this scream intro. I completely forgot about it. Felt really metal, and I was definitely reeled in right away. I was like, wait a minute, I remember this. I'm excited to listen to this now. And the verse was strong. The chorus was even better. I even started singing along. After I heard the chorus for the first time, once the second chorus hit, I started singing along to it with my headphones, and I probably looked like an idiot, actually, to my family. But fortunately, I'm alone in the basement listening to this record. And I had a great time with this track. The guitar bumps. Like, it's everything you'd want in a radio rock song. It's got catchy riffs, catchy hooks, and the song still, like, bumps. Like, there's parts where it's like, bum, 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 you know, just like, you want, in a radio rock song, you want a catchy chorus that you can sing along to with bumpy beats that you can kind of, like, bang your head to, right, while you're listening to it. And I had a fun time. I did all the above listening to this track. And the title is Polyamorous, and the song is about exactly what you'd expect from that title, a polyamorous relationship. This song tackles the emotional and physical depths of being in a polyamorous relationship and having multiple partners. Personally, I can't relate to the track because I'm not a fan of having multiple partners and I've never been in a polyamorous relationship, so I have no experience to speak of here. But I do enjoy the song. I think it's a good song and it's fun to listen to. I'm actually not a fan of polyamorous relationships, if you want my opinion. In my opinion, I think a relationship is meant to be between two people. A man and a woman and a woman, a man and a man, whatever you are, gay, straight, bi. I just believe that a romantic relationship is supposed to be between two people. That's my personal opinion. Like, I'm engaged to a lovely woman named Emily, and we're the only ones in said relationship. We've discussed polyamorous before, just like each other's opinions on it, and we agree we're not fans of polyamory. And it's because, to me at least, it just seems like too much. Because I want to really love the person. I feel like people who are looking for a polyamorous relationship are just looking for a way to spice up their relationship, make the relationship exciting again because their relationship has lost its flame and they're trying to reignite it. I don't know, adding a third person. I don't get it. Okay? And that's just how I feel about it. But let's move on to the next track. So the second I hit play on this next track, Skin, the song started coming back to me. Like, memories of hearing this song on the radio in the car just came flowing back, this song is iconic. And it's one of my favorites off the album, hearing it years later. Like, I feel really strongly about this. And it's got a pretty interesting message. This is a song about wanting to push through the tough times with your partner. Basically, you are stuck in your partner's skin no matter what. You want to make this work, right? That's kind of what this is about. You want to make things better. And oh my God, is it just fun to sing along to. I'm off for the weekend, you're in my skin. I ain't imagine else. Like, pretty good track. Natural Life, the 5th track on this album, is another catchy one. The natural life, you're born, you die. The natural life, you're wrong, you're right. These are fun lyrics to just shout out loud while you're listening to this track. I had a lot of fun with it. This is like a shower song. That's what this is. Like, I could totally see myself in the shower just shouting, you're wrong, you're right, the natural life, you're born, you die. Like, this is definitely the type of song they listen to in the shower, and I just vibe with this. Like, this is the type of song that you put on in the car or on a walk, and you just completely, like, immerse yourself in this track. It traps you in it, and it's amazing. I love this song so much. It's so good. Like, people who tell me that radio rock bands can't put out an infectious song, wrong. They can. This is an example of how Breaking Benjamin can do it, but other bands immerse you in their songs, like Nickelback. Everyone knows How You Remind Me. Everyone sings along to it, even if not intentionally. It's just grilled into our minds, right? So this is another one of those songs. This one is forever burnt into my memory now. I love it. So this next track, Next to Nothing, has a lot to unpack. I want to really take my time with this track and explain it, because Breaking Benjamin is known for having emotionally captivating songs that people can relate to and really feel, and I feel the emotions behind this track, and I really want to go over some lyrics with you one by one, some that I have noted here that I think mean a lot to me. So let's go over some of these, and I'll explain the song to you as we go. First of all, I think this is a song about a turbulent and dysfunctional relationship between two individuals that cut each other down but still cling to the relationship for some reason, which I have spoken about multiple times on this podcast because I've talked about songs like this. But I think Breaking Benjamin is one of the best examples of songs like this, because I've been in a turbulent relationship with a girl named Emma where I kept on clinging to her because she made me feel good. Like, when we weren't fighting, she, like, really cared about me. Like, she showed it, and she really, like, when we were having a good day, we were really having a good day, and I was suffering with suicidal thoughts and depression and anxiety at the time, and I wanted to kill myself, and she wouldn't let me do that, and she really, like, clung on to keep me alive. But, like, we'd have these really bad fight days, and she would start to give up on me, and we really knew it wasn't a healthy relationship. We kind of realized she was in the relationship with me just to keep me alive, and that ain't healthy, folks. She should have, like, made me get help, like therapy or something, but instead she, found it her need to keep me alive herself without a professional, and that's not healthy, and it led to some very dark relationship issues, and it really led to us clinging onto each other way too much to a toxic extent. A clear story, I've talked about this on the podcast too. She was the jealous type, never wanted me to get help from anybody else. If I had any female friends, she hated them because they were female and she deemed them prettier than her. Like, definitely a lot of toxic issues in this relationship. But let's get to some lyrics to really drill in the message here. In the chorus, Benjamin sings, "Because you know it's over, growing colder. I need something. You leave me next to nothing. To me, this shows awareness that we know the relationship is falling apart. There's the recognition there, and I relate to this. I finally came to a revelation later in me and Emma's relationship that this relationship was dysfunctional and had been falling apart, and had been falling apart for months at this point. And I definitely get it. And these lyrics honestly remind me of what I went through. But let me show you a little bit more. In the pre-chorus, Benjamin sings, "Come take my breath away. Look me straight in the face," implies the need for confrontation, for the other person in the relationship to recognize that the relationship is dysfunctional. And I completely get this. I would always try to tell Emma that, things in this relationship aren't right. They're falling apart. And she would tell me I'm delusional, that I'm just emotional, that I don't know what I'm talking about. And that pissed me off a lot. I would sometimes avoid speaking to her because I was just hurt that she wasn't listening to me, and I should have left a long time ago. I'm out of that relationship now. I'm engaged to someone who makes me really happy, but dude, this song hits deep for me. This song's serious. I haven't listened to this album in a long time, and this song just makes me look back and realize how tough that relationship was, and it makes me happy to know I'm out of it. I really feel so much relief. Listening to this song has lifted a weight off my shoulder of stress that's been there for years, and it's like that stress has been lifted away off my shoulders because I feel like this song recognizes what I'm going through. It feels like this song was written for me. I feel so much better. So this next track, which is a key standout track from this album, Water, I think has a double meaning. Let me explain. In the first verse, Benjamin sings, "I only want what's best for you. I won't ever let you drown. No, I won't let you down because I'm my own enemy." So I interpret this as Benjamin really cares about someone, a partner, friend, family member, or someone in his inner conscience. That's what you'd think. But I think this is a song with a double meaning of caring about someone, but also having a lot of resentment towards them about something, and that he's emotionally conflicted about them. Because let me read you the second verse. It's really interesting. "The surface is getting hotter. I'll shove your head underwater." That's dark. "But I won't let you drown." This shows emotional confliction. That this person, whoever they are, has caused him serious pain. Emotional pain. But at the same time, doesn't want to hurt them, but still cares about them inside. And wow, that's deep. This actually might be the deepest song on the record, in my opinion. I honestly don't know what to make of this except for emotional confliction. I guess I'd have to be the one who wrote this to really understand this. But I love this. This is some of the best lyricism by Breaking Benjamin, in my opinion. And I've heard pretty much all their records, but this is some of Benjamin's best writing. I love this track. Clearly, it's a journey of emotional confliction. Before I get myself too confused and too invested, let's move on. So this next song, Home, has a very unique story, actually. Apparently, in the live version of this track, Breaking Benjamin start off the song by citing Wizard of Oz, of all things, and saying, I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too. I know that was a terrible impression, but I tried. That is how they start off the live version of this track, and I thought that was pretty funny. I don't even know what that has to do with this song, but it's pretty funny. One of my favorite things about this song, though, is that this song kind of toys with nu metal of the time, too, and alternative metal. At the end of the chorus, one of the lines is actually screamed. And there's even like a little bit of instrumentation in the chorus that's reminiscent of nu metal. So I think this is probably the most unique and dynamic song on the album, and I really like it. Home is a pretty good song. I find it hard to decide. A way to make up your mind. Your lips are better than mine. Those are the lyrics from the second verse of this track, Phase. And I think this is about another one of those like turbulent friendships or relationships, life situations, but this one's a little different where it tackles denial. Like most of the songs here have been about trying to escape, right? This is more about like being in denial and accepting that your partner is better than you in every way. And like when you say your lips are better than mine, this implies that they've accepted that this person is better at making decisions than they are, so they just shouldn't argue with them. And then in the chorus, they want to be themselves again, but they can't because they think that this person's always right. Obviously, we know they're not, but they think so. So let me read you the chorus, because I actually really like singing along to this as well. Out of the ground, I rise to grace. No one knows it's just a phase. So this I interpret as they think that them wanting to be free is just a phase and that they'll get over it. But what's really going on is they know something's wrong, but they're trying to make excuses for why it's okay. That's how I interpret this. This is definitely a relationship to me that resembles a broken-hearted person. A broken person inside has been a theme on this album, and I really like it. This is starting to become a more and more personal album to me the more I listen to it. I love this so far. Let's move on to the next track. So this next track, No Games, is interesting as well because I have an ex named Brianna, and she spelled it Brianna, which is the unique way of spelling it. A lot of people spell it with an E. And in the song, they spell it Brianna in the lyrics, and I thought that that was a nice touch. Also, I think this is a song about playing head games in a relationship, which the lyric goes, Dear Brianna, I need an answer. What was the question? I don't remember. And that's a great chorus, and it really does a great job of getting the point across that this is about head games. But what's really ironic about this is that my ex, Brianna, would also play head games with me. She would pin... The reason we broke up is in 2020, after 4.5 years of dating, she pinned me and this guy I did not like very much up against each other for her love and affection, right? And it was messed up. And she would play head games with us. And that's why I find the lyrics and subject matter ironic and really funny. So I think this song's an instant classic with that context. So I think this next track is about not getting to know a true person and you're only seeing their sugarcoat, because he says the line, I'll never know your sugarcoat. And I interpret this as this person always puts on a persona. They always act fake. They act like a nice, sweet, innocent person, you know. But you'll never get to know their true intentions or their sugarcoat, because they just pretend to have the perfect life and they don't show who they truly are. Whether if that is just a genuinely good person or a bad person, they just come off as unreal. They don't come off as real and genuine. I think that's what this track is about, and it's a good one. I've definitely interacted with a few people like this who are sugar-coated. My own mother is sugar-coated. She bullied me for my disability my entire life growing up, but around others, always wore a sugar coat pretending that she was this great, supportive mother. So I can completely relate to this sort of issue. This next track, Shallow Bay, I definitely think encapsulates the theme of self-empowerment. And I think that's great because all throughout this record, we've been hearing a lot of tracks about self-doubt, depression, relationship issues, and it's a breath of fresh air to discuss feeling positive about yourself, and I sense that here. Let me read you some lyrics that are really empowering, and one that even gets stuck in my head. The sun will rise another time, the color is blind, your virgin eyes, starts off this track pretty strongly. This expresses the feeling of newly found strength, self-empowerment, a fresh start, and it's great. I'm going to make you mine shows determination. He feels good about himself and like he can do anything. He feels good about the world. He's on top of the world. That's what this implies to me. In the chorus, I can tell he feels liberated and weightless from the evil of the world here in the chorus. Let me read you a few lines here. I float along a shallow bay, I'm a California castaway, is just a great line and shows weight and liberation. I actually, when listening to the song, get that line stuck in my head. I'm a California castaway. That gets stuck in my head, and it still is as I'm recording this. I can't stop thinking about that line. It's just too good. It's catchy. It's got the hooks. We end off this album with a beautiful acoustic ballad that reminds me of my fiance. I actually cried listening to this. I'm going to try and keep my composure while I read some lyrics to you here. Do you know I could never leave you? Do you know I could never beat you? This is a story of, to me, two people who love each other so much that they know it. They know they're in love. They know they love each other, and they could never be each other's enemy because they just love each other too much, and that's how I feel about my fiance. I love her. I know she loves me, and she knows I love her. And when you're going to marry someone, you have to make sure they're the right person for you, and I know she's right. And she treats me much better than anybody in this world. And I could never beat her. I would never attempt to beat her at anything in life because we're a team. And I think that's what this song is trying to say. And I love it so much. Can I stay alive forever is a metaphor for asking if you can stay in love with her forever. And I ask myself this question and I know the answer. I will love my fiance forever until death make us part. That's in wedding vows too. I'm getting married to her soon and I won't leave her until death parts us. And that's what this is about. The line, "Can we share a poison apple?" is about not caring how cruel life is. You want to be with her no matter how cruel life treats you both. As long as you have each other, that's all that matters. And again, that's how I feel about my fiance. I don't care what happens to us. I don't care how sweet the world is or how cruel it is, as long as we get to go through it together. Those are my values. That's important to me. And I can tell the song shares those values. I love this song. But let's finally move into my final thoughts, because I have a lot to say here. I haven't heard this album in years. Probably not since the 2000s. But after re-listening to it, I feel like I'm falling in love with it all over again. There's just so much to love about this album. For one, the sound. Despite being recorded in numerous studios, from the research I've done, it is perfect. It sounds great. Almost every song is perfect. Only one of them, Medicate, falls on its face. But most of them are amazing, okay? Like, you've got your alternative metal songs on here where there's some screams either in the beginning of the song. One of them has a screaming chorus, so it experiments with metal. There's melodic hard rock in here, and those elements are in pretty much every song with the melodic vocals. You've got one of the best vocalists to make this album even better, and it all just blends together well. But there are so many just key songs on here, like Forever, one of the greatest love songs in 2000s rock. Fight Me. I love that song. Shallow Bay is really uplifting and beautiful to listen to if you're doubting yourself. You've got two amazing acoustic songs on this album, Forever and Next to Nothing, which slow the album down a little bit. One is at the end of the album, Forever, where Next to Nothing is track 6. It's kind of in the middle of the album. So after you get through all those like 5 loud rock songs, you slow things down with a nice little acoustic track to mellow things out. And then you've got Phase, which has a bongo intro, which is fucking cool. There's just all kinds of sounds on this album, too. And some of the best lyrics. Some songs with the best lyrics are Forever, Next to Nothing, Shallow Bay, not to mention Natural Life, or the awesome sing-along moments that come with the song Polyamorous. So, I love this track. And also, pretty much everything on here, except for Medicate, is catchy as hell. So, I give this album a 10 out of 10. This is amazing. This is a great album. I love it. Definitely listen to this for yourself. I'm not even going to dock a point off and make it a 9 just for Medicate. That's just not fair. This is a 10 out of 10 album. I'll see you guys next week for episode 29. This has been Corruption Occulted Podcast, keeping the schedule of weekly uploads going.